Happy Sunday morning. Happy Sunday morning. Gonna give it a little bit of time to see who comes into the chat room. Happy Sunday morning, Chris. Let's see. Happy Sunday morning, Music Heals Me. All right. Just gonna light this stick of incense and maybe we'll have some other people to come into the chat room this morning. Welcome, Anna. Happy Sunday morning. Happy Sunday. I just spent some time talking with DJ Ransom. He wants to collaborate with me on some music videos. He wanted to take some of my reading to make some meditative videos with them. So that will be an interesting. And thinking about having him on later for a live stream with me in conversation. He's a pretty interesting guy, has some deep thoughts and very creative. So welcome, Anna. Welcome, Joelle. Welcome, Bug Out Brad. So let's see. For some reason, my little thingy is missing. So not sure how I'm going to hit the, oh, here it is, there. Okay, so got my glasses as I'm getting over my vanity and just accepting the fact that I need to wear reading glasses, and it's okay. I know a lot of cool, beautiful people in my life who wear glasses for reading as well as on a permanent basis, so I should be just fine with venturing into the space of reading glasses. So, you know, we all have our lessons and issues and things we need to get over, and mine is vanity. I'll admit it. I never knew exactly how vain I was until I became pregnant with my first son. That was a trip. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and bring out our chime. So I'm going to take a nice, deep, centering breath to enter into this space. And I thank all of you for being here. And I thank Chris Monet. It was Chris's idea. She's like, "Are you going to come on?" So I'm like, right here I am. And just want to warn you, my little one is right here, so he might, hopefully not, peek his head in. But he is singing in the background. So anyway, let's take a nice, deep, centering breath. Okay, so welcome. How is your weekend going? Wonderful. I had a nice relaxing yesterday, a nice relaxing this morning. I was going to go out for a jog, but then I got caught up in conversation. So maybe I'll have an opportunity to go for a jog later. It's been a while, and running helps the endorphins and serotonins and all of that good stuff. So how about this? I have the crystal for the day. Let me just figure out where my crystal books are. Oh, here they are. So let me get out a crystal book. So the crystal, welcome Dave Coy, welcome. So the crystal for today is Danubrite. It kind of looks like quartz, but I mean, you know, It is in the quartz family, I suppose, but it's a little bit different. This is Danubite. And this one has a very faint, it's probably difficult for you to see, but there is a very faint pinkish glow to it. And this is like a twin soul Danubite. There's two of them here, and then there's one here. So let me go ahead and look up Danubite in our crystal book. Love is in the Earth, a kaleidoscope of crystals, updated. And I'm not even sure if it is in here. I might have to go on the internet. First, I have to figure out my alphabet. There it is. Okay, Danubite. It is beautiful. It's a nice little jacket piece. And there is a little rainbow in there somewhere. And it really does have a little faint pink. Danubite crystallizes in the form of prismatic crystals resembling topaz in configuration. The color ranges includes colorless, yellow-white, yellow-brown, pale wine yellow, pink, and dark wine yellow. So this is a very pale yellow. This mineral encourages one to let your light shine and helps people to get along with others. It is a powerful intellectual activator, bringing both stimulus and responsiveness to the user. It is also helpful in the rectification of recalcitrant attitudes, allowing one to maintain personal identity while flowing with the structure of the world. The pink color has been used to activate the heart chakra and to bring self-love to the user. It can be used to facilitate motor capabilities and to provide a catalytic action to the muscular structure. In addition, occasionally, Danubite exhibits a Buddha crystal configuration, bringing the aspects of enlightenment and love toward realization. It intensifies all of the attributes of Danubite and assists one in the actualization of that which will promote ease of traveling one's path. And Danubite vibrates to the number 4. So that is Danubite. And I really like this crystal. I've never really felt compelled to carry quartz crystal, you know, your traditional clear quartz crystal around with me. However, this crystal, Danubite, it's like, I don't know, it just has this very sweet energy about it. And even though, like for instance, you can see that, like the crystal is not anywhere near perfect, and it really does look a lot like topaz in its crystalline structure, and less like your traditional quartz. There's just something very inviting about this stone. And this particular specimen is not like superficially gorgeous or anything, but the energy is very gorgeous. And when there we go, you can get a better view of it. When I came across this stone, I was just like, oh, that is so beautiful. I want to. So this is a stone that I will carry on my person. So that is Danubite. Okay. Dave Coy says, I switched from Jeff's morning show to yours because gotta have beauty to keep the beast at bay. That's adorable. Okay, so so I want to read, we're going to have a double Eckhart Tolle day. Okay, so I'm going to read from Eckhart Tolle, Oneness with All Life. Okay. Oh, you know what? Before that, let's bring in our divine feminine. I'm going to bring in our divine feminine for today. see what aspects of the divine feminine are calling us. These are some massively big cards, so the shuffling can be a little bit challenging. Here, that's better. Okay. All right. Whoops. Oh, that card has a lot of paint on it. Okay. So our card for today, I got to figure out how to clean that other card. Our card for today is Nukua. Nukua, which is order. Isn't she? She's like a beautiful grandmother. Up, up. Let's get that. There we go. Do we have her coming in there? Nukua. We did have a good screen capture at first. Nukua. Yeah, she's gorgeous. There we go. That's a little better. Nukua, order. So let's see the message of Nukua. Nukua, order. There is a way, and I am that way. The way of nature that moves in all things. In the beginning, I created the universal pattern. The way things are, the way things flow, the way things need to be. Then I sequenced the seasons, harmonized the hillsides, organized the oceans, till all was auspiciously arranged. I am the natural order of things. I am the way. Almost sounds like the Tao, the mythology. At the time of what the Hopi and Shansi people of northern China, that's really interesting, the Hopi. I wonder if they're like very anciently connected to the Hopi. The Hopi and Shansi people of northern China call the great chaos in the universe Nukua. Nukua, the dragon-bodied goddess, came to restore order. She replaced the pillars of heaven with the legs of the great turtle and repaired the sky with colored stones. Her repairs enabled the rains to fall when needed and the seasons to come in their rightful order. The dragons on her two pillars guard the path of the sun and the moon. The compass she wears at her waist symbolizes order. Nuakua. Nuakua floats into your life to assist you in creating order. Is chaos constantly peering around the edges of your life, threatening to overwhelm you if you relax for an instant? Have you let things pile up and bury you? Do you find you are excellent at organizing your boss, your family, your mate, but not yourself? Are you afraid of order? Afraid that if you find a workable system for yourself, you will feel locked in, unable to flow? Or perhaps you have created order in your life, but in a way that is stifling, stiff, solid, heavy, engraved in stone. Now is the time to nurture yourself with order that assists rather than chokes your life force. New Kwa says that when life is ordered in the natural way, you nurture your path to wholeness. When you forcibly impose something unnatural from without, you create rebellion and resistance. Okay, so there we go. Nuakua. So she is come to help you to attain order, and she has come to also encourage you to relax and to allow things to flow, to be a little less restrictive on your order. So, Nuakua, isn't that a beautiful painting? Beautiful. She looks like a very sweet, wise grandmother sage. Grandmother sage. All right. So that is Nuakua. So, how is everyone today? How is everyone? So, now we will return to our Eckhart Tolle, Oneness with All Life. And we are in the chapter on going beyond thought. Going beyond thought. And I have no idea why the camera is constantly what do you call it? Adjusting. So, okay. This is most people's reality. As soon as something is perceived, it is named, interpreted, compared with something else, liked, disliked, or called good or bad by the phantom ego. They are imprisoned in thought forms and object consciousness. You do not awaken spiritually. You do not awaken spiritually until the compulsive and unconscious naming ceases. Or at least you become aware of it and thus are able to observe it as it happens. It is through this constant naming that ego remains in place as the unobserved mind. Whenever it ceases, and even when you just become aware of it, there is inner space, and you are not possessed by the mind anymore. So this is basically, it's sort of inviting us to, number one, and especially in the Western world, which is where I grew up and most of us did, you know, there's this constant excessive compulsiveness to categorize things, to categorize people, you know, they're black or they're white or they're young or they're old, you know, they're Catholic or they're Buddhist, you know, the constant need to put a check mark. It's this and that. And so here Eckhart Tolle is sort of inviting us to, you know, ease up on that. You know, and if you're not able to stop doing it, but also recognize the fact that you're doing it. Recognize that you're doing it, because the more you recognize and become aware of what you're doing, and when you become aware of what you're doing without saying, oh, I shouldn't be doing that, or this isn't good, just become aware that you're doing it. And the more you become aware of something, you're able to consciously navigate in between. You know, because there are times when we do need to interpret something and perceive it and name it. It's called discernment. And then there's other times it's good to just allow things to be without having to put it in a category. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me just check the chat room, because I like to keep a keen eye on the chat room. Oh, thank you, Dave. He says, go to your camera settings and take it off the face mode. It keeps trying to stay focused on your face. Okay, I don't know if I'll be able to do this now, but what I'll do is later, when I'm done, I'll go in and figure out, you know, fool around with it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. All right, and the last reading I wanted to do is Stillness Speaks. And then I will move on to one more thing, and hopefully we can all have a fabulous Sunday. Oh, this reading is very similar. The human condition, lost in thought. Most people spend their entire life imprisoned within the confines of their own thoughts. They never go beyond a narrow, mind-made, personalized sense of self that is conditioned by the past. In you, as in each human being, there is a dimension of consciousness far deeper than thought. It is the very essence of who you are. We may call it presence, awareness, the unconditioned unconsciousness, the unconditioned consciousness. In the ancient teachings, it is the Christ within, or your Buddha nature. Finding that dimension frees you and the world from the suffering you inflict on yourself and others when the mind-made little me is all you know and runs your life. Love, joy, creative expansion, and lasting inner peace cannot come into your life except through that unconditioned dimension of consciousness. If you can recognize even occasionally the thoughts that go through your mind as simply thoughts, if you can witness your own mental, emotional, reactive patterns as they happen, then that dimension is already emerging in you as the awareness in which thoughts and emotions happen. The timeless inner space in which the content of your life unfolds. Okay. So, let's see. Is Joelle still on the chat? If Joelle, if you are there, please raise your hand. I don't know if you're still there or not. Because I wanted to see if because it seems like most everyone in here I pulled a card for, and I just wanted to pull one card for someone today and maybe offer it to someone who hasn't been on when I've pulled a card. So while I wait for Joelle, I want to go ahead and do an Earth Magic card for us today. We were all about order and learning when to allow that order to flow. So let's see what we can pick up from some Earth Magic cards. Oh, there we go. So this is Earth Magic. So Joelle, if you're still there, if not, no worries. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the deck. Looking at you over my glasses like a librarian. I think in a previous life, I was a private investigator and or a librarian in another life. In another life, I'm sure I was like a scholar at an abbot. Okay. 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 Oh, there we go. So the card I picked for us today is Fairies, which is Earth Magic. We all could use a little magic in our life and getting in touch with the earth and the elementals and all the energies that are around us to support us and challenge us. I consider even challenges as a support, because all the things, you know, the quote-unquote good and the quote-unquote bad, help our unfoldment, help us to develop into the best of who we are to be. And of course, it's all about choice. It's what you choose to focus on. You can have all of the trials and tribulations in your life, and you can decide to use those for good, find the opportunity in them, you know, to turn around and help other people and grow and develop. Or you can choose the path of complaining and being miserable and making other people miserable. Okay, and I promise afterwards to figure out how to adjust my camera. So let's go. All right, so fairies, earth magic. Fairies are nature spirits thought to be descended from the early tribes, particularly the Tuatha De Danann, those associated with the goddess Dana, who once ruled Ireland, that inhabited the British Isles. And let's see. Also, some people think that fairies are also from the Twa people of South Africa as well. They're the people who, the Khoi people, the Kwa people, or the people derogatively called pygmies. They don't call themselves pygmies, but anyway. Over time, these ancient people were conquered and displaced, and they fled to areas where humans didn't venture, ultimately becoming increasingly smaller and less visible in order to better hide themselves. Fairies have assumed responsibility for the plants and trees, or standing ones. They work with earth magic to take care of these beings, and if you ask, they'll help you with your garden or yard. They also have the power of enchantment and shape-shifting. Fairies appreciate it when you show them through your actions that we love the earth as much as they do. And consequently, they bestow a little of their earth magic on us. Okay, so this is our fairy card, our earth magic. So fairies, like I said before, they come into our life, and we can invite them in and ask them to show us the possibilities and all the magic that is available to us. So enjoy this fairy card. And happy sunrise, Michelle. Welcome, welcome. That is so true, Dave. It can only get better from here, depending on what you choose to, your choice on what to focus on. And, as I'm always trying to encourage people, is to take care, take care and nurture your holy trinity of self. Discipline your conscious mind. Use your conscious mind to constantly make choice of what you expose yourself to. Do you expose yourself to negative circumstances? Oh, sorry, that was my stomach growling. It's saying, feed me. Anyway, what we choose to focus on and listen to and feed our subconscious mind with. Our subconscious mind is, as Chris Monet likes to say, it's like a 3-year-old child. Our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, unlike our conscious mind, does not discriminate. It does not judge. It accepts like a sponge, like a little child. It takes the good and the bad, but it doesn't know what's beneficial for you and what's not beneficial for you. It just takes everything in. So if you listen to people who focus on doom and gloom and doom and gloom and doom and gloom, if you listen to network news that does the same, focuses on doom and gloom, if you watch horror movies or scary movies or a lot of violent movies, all of that goes into your subconscious mind. And this is for all of us. We all have to be careful of what we allow into our energy center, thinking that, oh, I'm tough, I'm an adult, I know how to discern. Yes, consciously, you do know how to discern. Subconsciously, absolutely not. You do not. And so above as below, above being our mental, our subconscious mind, our spiritual mind, and below, which is what we manifest in our lives. If we feed ourselves darkness, and that's what we do when we engage in negative gossip, when we watch where people are ridiculing and destroying other people, when we listen to, the world's going to end on this day, and all of that, it affects us. It turns up in our life as anxiety, depression, and we can't figure out why we're depressed or why we're anxious. It turns out as insomnia. We can't seem to, fall asleep at night. We have nightmares. It's all connected to what we've allowed into our life. And in our subconscious, in our superconscious, our higher self, those are the areas where we are deeply connected to each other. So people want to understand, why is the world in the shape that it's in? Because as a collective mass, we've decided to follow those few individuals who are constantly stirring up anger and strife and all of the stuff that does not make us feel good. And then we focus on that, and that big old vibration is going out. Negativity, womb, negativity, womb, anger, womb, violence, womb, 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 womb. And that's what we're being bombarded with. So we can consciously make the choice that I'm not going to surround myself in that. I think there's somebody might know the scripture better than I do, but in the Christian New Testament, in Philippians, I'm not sure what chapter, but it's like, and whatever is good, whatever is perfect, good, beneficial, and edifying, think on these things. And it's so true. And let me, make sure I explain this. I am not a Pollyanna. I'm not a person who views the world through rose-tinted lenses and thinks that everything is perfect. No, I'm a optimistic realist. I try to be. So yes, there is stuff that happens, negative and positive, but we always have a choice. Where are we going to swing on that pendulum? Is it going to be always to the negative? Is it always going to be to the positive? Or as Chris says, that 51%, that middle C note, just a little bit more on the positive, but not too far, because if you're way on the one side, eventually you're going to swing back way on the other side. But if you keep yourself in just to the right or just to the left, depending on where you have those two labels, just to the left of that middle ground, and just keep your balance, it helps you to be able to navigate between the two, because there's always going to be something negative that happens, and there's always going to be something that's positive that's going to happen. But we do manifest and we do create from the subconscious mind. And if you're constantly filling your subconscious mind with negativity and dark and gloom, that's what's going to manifest into our collective reality and our individual reality. Sorry, I got on my soapbox. I got really into that. So I do apologize. So anyway, it's just something for us to always think about. And that's something that I have decided to keep my mind, is to stay focused, to keep my eye on the prize, to keep my eye on all those things that can help open me up, edify me, that 1,000-petaled lotus, which is my soul, as it begins to grow and sprout. And so I keep focused on the positive and that which builds me up. So when I do trip and fall, I realize I get knocked down, but I get up again. Ain't nothing going to keep me down. But if I'm feeding myself with negative, when I trip and fall, I'm like, oh, this is horrible. I'm down, and this sucks, and this is that. That makes the difference. So above as below. So let me check out. Anna Indicia says, no apologies. Okay, because I get into that zone and I get like that single point vision. So yeah, there he is. You hear him. So let me just check the chat room. Okay. Oh yeah, that's autocorrect, spell check. Autocorrect is woo. I've sent some messages where I'm saying one thing and autocorrect has changed the words all around. So anyway, okay. Chris Monet says, we've decided to make the dream a nightmare. Let me go back up to that. We've decided to make the dream a nightmare instead of heaven on earth. Yes, you know, and we can decide to make it heaven on earth, that proverbial, what we think of heaven is, that nirvana, that bliss. It can be here now. It doesn't mean that one day you might not, you know, get a splinter, you know, but when, depending on what you choose to feed your subconscious mind, that splinter either remains a splinter and you can easily pluck it out, or it's going to turn into this big, massive, infective thing that has like destroyed your life. That's the difference that it makes in what you choose to feed yourself with. So anywho, I thank all of you for, yes, Fester. I I was going to use some other choice words, but I don't know if some of you are like me, that when if someone is telling me a scenario or a story or even conversation, I immediately see images in my mind, and always not so pretty ones. So I didn't want to say any words that might bring up kind of gross pictures to people in their minds. So anywho, thank you so much for joining all of us on this wonderful Sunday. I encourage you to continue to guard your holy trinity of self, to love fiercely, and to trust your inner sanctum, to go in there, to build it up, to trust yourself, to seek counsel, to seek communion, companionship with like minds, people who not only will edify you, but will challenge you to be the best you that you can be. Okay. Music Heals Me says, I've learned too that the what does it say? The rubs, the frictions, the pains and cracks are breaking our seed open. It is our journey as beings. And that is so true. That is so true. That is so true. Okay. So let me get our chimes out. Thank you. Please check the description box for information about me and my website and purpose. I wish you peace and great bliss. Have a sweet day. And I might be back on in a little bit. I think DJ Ransom and I might have some conversation. If anyone else would like to join in on the live stream video, let me know. A meeting of the minds, discussing life, the soul, maybe even the afterlife, maybe even our life's purpose. So hit me up. I would love to have at least one other person on. Okay? All right, peace.